Anyway, my bumper was one of the first ones that offered the pre-tapped holes to be able to accept these. And what it does is it gives you quite a bit more clearance at the wheel, get some of the plastic out of the way, and it's going to be a lot of trimming. Comes with a, let's see, got a little hardware kit. I'll have to reuse a couple of bolts and nuts and whatnot. And then also this is a little cover for the washer bottle. So that's, I guess it would probably go like that. Anyway, keep it to where you can't readily damage it since you're cutting a lot of the plastic out of the way. These high clearance wings, I got, like I said, I got to trim off a lot of the plastic, and then they include trim to go from the paint. All right. Anyway, it goes cut along the painted edge, and then that's just a nice little trim piece to make that transition to the wing. Anyway, I'm gonna do both sides. Of note, you will need a Sharpie, something to measure with. I think a 17, a 14, maybe a 13 millimeter wrench. And anyway, we'll document it as we do it. And like I said, it shouldn't take too long. I'm gonna use a cut-off wheel and trim that plastic off with it. So anyway, all right, back to it.
Let's go back to where it all started. Prior to and during the installation of the Southern Style Offroad Slimline bumper, pay special attention to the power steering line, which will be tilted out of the way in order to fit the Warren 10,000 Xeon winch. Also included 30-inch cutout for a light bar. And here's the finished product with the lights on. Very nice. All right, before I start actually making a cut, I'm gonna make 100% sure that I feel comfortable with where I'm at, and I'll just start cutting from this end to here, and just that honestly looks fairly straight to me. Starting with the dot that I made, which is 3 inches along this corner here, to 2 1/4 down here at the bottom, and honestly feel like it's that's pretty good. Anyway, all right, so I got to pull out the original reinforcement bars that are underneath here. Should be a 14 millimeter head on those. All right, I'm gonna run get a ratchet wrench real quick. That's the bar we're removing. No longer needed. Got a like serious biting fly probably. Okay. All right. So where we where we're at now, I removed the 12 millimeter bolt out of the lower radiator support, which you can see right there. Have a pre-tapped actually a pre-drilled hole, and in the threads behind it, I'm going to put in one of the two bolts I removed when I took that other support off, and then I have two flange head and flange nut to bolt and nut to go that I have to go through here to be able to reach, which once I get it sort of lined up with the bottom portion, It'll be fairly easy. And as you can see, I've got the new trim, which I may end up trimming that back just a little bit. And but overall, that looks like that's a fairly straight cut. If I can just make the other side look like it, a little bit of a front-on look here, you can just see everything that we took a bunch off. Let's look at this side for reference. Yeah. So anyway, it's just basically right across there. Anyway, we'll get this button back up and we'll get some pictures here in a minute when we get through. Hey guys, thanks for sticking with it to this point in the video. If you got anything out of this, please hit the subscribe button. Give us a thumbs up. It definitely helps. Anyway, as I was doing this, I noticed that, well, I had some missing footage. So we know that those wings aren't supposed to be with a 4-inch gap. So anyway, let's go out here to the 4Runner real quick, and I'll just point out some things that you might want to pay attention to as you're doing it. I'm sure you've noticed now that my lines were not the straightest. It really doesn't. You don't really notice it that much when it's on there, in which you'll see. But if you're really picky, you either want to use possibly like a Dremel, something that you can go nice and slow and control the progress of your cut. What I was using, probably, like I said, I can't draw a straight line. I can't hang a picture. Never have a hat that's on straight. You might want to leave it to a professional or use a Dremel if something like that's going to bother you. So anyway, I'm just going to go out here real quick. Let's look at it all buttoned up, and I'm also going to show you those, just like I said, just a couple little things. It is a nightmare. It took me better part of an hour, hour and a half to get the final bolt into those threaded holes. It's probably a lot easier if you have help. I did it by myself, all of it. Sometimes just a second set of eyeballs to say, hey man, that's not a straight line. And that would have been better. Anyway, let's go out here real quick. A good idea of the fitment. I've had this on here for about a month or so. And so, like I said, some weekend when I'm not doing anything, just wanting something to do, probably gonna get that tied in a little bit better. You have 2 bolts on the bottom, then there's 2 bolts up in here. I don't know if we're gonna be able to see them or not. We're gonna give it a good try here. Yeah, I don't think we can see that. I can see them from here, but I don't know if I can pick that up on camera. Also, the washer reservoir in place. Some people paint that. I didn't. It didn't necessarily bother me. One of these days, again, it might be just a future project. But when you get these wings in place and you start tightening everything down, like I said, without a second set of hands to put pressure where you basically need to have pressure, it makes it really hard to get that bolt started. So I believe, if I'm not mistaken, on one side I may have went, I lined it up, I pushed the bolt through, threaded it through, going the wrong direction, or found another bolt with the same thread, got everything like it would be, undid it, and then finally went back through, which, I mean, I would not have had to have done if I would have just had a second set of hands. And also, the inner fender, you can see where I've trimmed that out. You want to make sure that you kind of cut it to the trim, as you can see, where you don't have anything hanging down. Because if you do, you will get the worst vibration noise that you have ever heard when you're driving down the road. I mean, highly annoying. So just make sure you cut enough of that away. But anyway, that's it. I've been happy with it. Of course, I can't be satisfied with anything, so we're gonna go with this for a little bit. But I have a distinct feeling that we're probably going to be putting a full bumper on at some point in time here pretty soon. So anyway, I just you know, kind of like the idea of getting that full bumper protection. There it is. Also, to point out one other thing, let's see if I can get that on there. If it bothers you, and you can see it, this power steering lines basically touch. I mean, there's the touch. It's not a point that's going to cause friction, I don't think. But if that's something that bothers you, I guess you could mark your spot there, notch that out, or take a grinder to it and then paint back over it. But again, I don't necessarily think that it's something that would create any kind of issue. Anyway, I'm trying to get a good front on look here. Oh yeah, so you can see. SSO sliders, C4 rear bumper. Give you a little rear going back to the front shot. You can just see just how much plastic we trimmed out of the way. So anyway, that's that. I just didn't want to leave it. Oh, other thing. Anybody else's 4Runner have this problem? I mean, I assumed that the little piece up underneath here had possibly broke just from little trail accident or whatnot. But anyway, I think I've seen several that have it. That ought to be anybody has any idea how to fix that, hit me up, let me know. All right, so that's that.